Hopefully everybody can hear me. Should be nice and loud. Hopefully I got the volume stuff all sorted out this year. But this, welcome, is the draft order setting for our 2022 football season. In this video, or in this live event, we will be setting the draft order. So with our 12-team league, we'll see who's going to get the first through the 12th picks. Just a quick note that, remember, we are doing things just a little bit differently this year, in that we have a different setup for our league personnel. So you'll have one quarterback, you'll have two running backs, two wide receivers, and then instead of a tight end slot, you'll have two tight end / wide receiver flex spots. So that can be a tight end or a wide receiver. And then you'll have the regular flex spot, which can be a running back, wide receiver, or tight end. And then there will be a super flex spot, or offensive utility spot, I believe ESPN calls it. And that slot is can be a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or tight end. That's the super flex. And so the ability to start two quarterbacks is kind of a big deal and deserves some thought as far as your draft strategy goes. So with that, the other reason I kind of wanted to go over with the tight end wide receiver mixing. If anybody's really paying attention and looked at the tight end stats for the last few seasons, and for a while now, generally there's one or two, maybe three, like top-tier tight ends, and then after that, it really falls off. And if you don't get one of those guys, then tight end is just a silly position. But if you mix it with the wide receiver position, then it becomes a lot more interesting, and you can choose to, go for a tight end or go for a receiver where you think that expected value is going to be. And it's really been even more kind of called out or shown in recent years, where you have basically Travis Kelce, and then like everybody else, like Travis Kelce is in a tier by himself, and then maybe there's like two or three other guys in a tier below him, and then there's everybody else. So, I feel like the one person that gets Kelce and then has a regular draft kind of has that advantage at tight end slot. Whereas if you slot Kelce in as a receiver, he's still he still counts well as a receiver. But then that gives, it brings parity is really kind of what my point is. And we talked, I think, a little bit about this in videos last season. I think these, it's really been interesting, not just in football, but in fantasy football it's carried over as well, where things are really a lot more even than they used to be, Teams, you never know who's going to win sometimes, or I shouldn't even say sometimes, a lot of the time, or most of the time, it's it comes down to the wire. There were a lot more real close finishes, and especially in fantasy football, and where you see, like last year, me and Mike had a finish that was 6/100ths of a point. Like if the quarterback had just looked at the guy, he would have got more points, and the other guy, me, would have won that game. So really, it comes down to parity and trying to make things really as even as we can to make these contests exciting every week, and to make sure that everybody is maximizing their fun. If you win, you look at last year where like a couple of teams lost like 5 games in a row to start the season, but we're still in it, still in the playoffs, and still battling for the trophy at the end of the season. That's nuts. And it's crazy, but it's also really good for the sport, and it's really good to know that you can fall a few games behind early or mid-season and still make up that ground and still get into the playoffs and still, have a chance to compete for the trophy and for the chance to maybe get some of your money back. I mean, unless you're garbage time, you're never getting any money out of this league if you're garbage time. But everybody else has a chance to at least get their money back. So with that said, we're going to kick off this draft order selection. And the way I'm going to do this is the same way that I did it last year with a tool called 100yardrush.com. and you should see that tool up on your screen around me, as it were, over here. I got to point the right way. I'm all backwards. 100yardrush.com. And what this is it basically is a randomizer. You get to select 12 little dudes, and these 12 little dudes are going to race randomly according to this website across this field, and whatever order they finish in is going to be the draft order. So right now I have, and I'm going to show you the whole setup so you know this is all above board, at least as far as it can be from my end. On the 100yardrush.com side, I don't know what those guys are doing. I don't think they have a vested interest in the results of this as far as our league is concerned, but who knows, maybe there's some mustachioed figure in the background at 100 Yard Rush going, I'm going to screw that league this year. But I doubt that's what's happening. So it's as random as it can be made, I think, and this tool is really fun. Anyways, so right now I'll go through the setup for this. So we have 12 teams in our league, so we'll select 12. Our next screen gives us all of the managers' names, so we'll start with this one, and this will get randomized later, so it doesn't matter what order I type them in, so we'll just type them in. And for some reason, whenever I'm setting this up, I always forget Randy, and so this time I'm going to put Randy first so I don't forget him, but I'm sure by the time I get to 12, I'll be like, who am I forgetting? Doesn't really matter. There's Randy there. We'll come over here and we'll go Mike J, Mike F, Helen S, Veronica M. Oh, hey, my caps lock went on. Well, that's not very good. Let's do that right. Don't want anybody to think that caps lock gives anybody an advantage. Veronica M. Let's go with Rob. We'll type my name in here, because why not? This guy's in one of our new members. And I realize I didn't give Randy an initial. Let's go ahead and give him an initial, because why not? Why not just be crazy? I mean, we really don't have to, but whatever. We'll give everybody an initial. Why not? I don't want you to think the initial makes you faster. Let's see. So Marcus, and now I lost my place. Where am I? Oh yeah, let's see. We got KC W, and then we have KC, and those are just initials, so there's not a whole lot I can do with that. He's another new member, so let's put an initial in there. And then Jim B is the last new member. So our three new members are Marcus, KC, and Jim B. As I've explained, we did lose last year's champion, Team Deathridger, and that was due to the owner of that team being promoted to a management position. This is a supervisor's league, not a manager's league. So with that said, there are some people on this list in our league currently in contention for a managerial spot, and if that happens, as I've explained in another post, they will be unfortunately removed from the league, and we will come up with how we're going to address that if and when it happens. But until that time, we will keep on going. And so now, here I am at slot 12, and I can't remember who I forgot. So let's see, Randy. Oh, I know exactly who I forgot. So the last member of the team is Corey. And so there we go. Those are the 12 teams. Now, I could change sprite colors. I'm not going to, because that's just a level of silliness that I don't really need to get into. It's going to be animated sprites, not static or custom. I could bring up custom files for everybody's little logos, but I'm not going to do that either. Again, a level of granularity that I don't feel is needed for this tool. So there are our 12 teams typed in. Next screen. Is this going to be random or a code rush? And basically what that means is you can put in some codes that kind of change the way the thing works. I'm just going to keep it at a random rush. And now I can shuffle these. So I typed them in that order, but I can shuffle this. And if I hit this button, you can see that it shuffles over on the left-hand side there. Left-hand side, whatever it is. Every day I'm shuffling. I'm going to shuffle this 100 times. 100 shuffles ought to get us a nice random starting order so that they're not anywhere close to the order that I typed them in. Up to 96, 97, 98, 99. 100 times been shuffled. So now the starting order and where everybody is on the screen has been shuffled and is different from this when I input them. So then we move on to the next screen. And here is where I can make luck adjustments. Now, you notice I have no checked because we're not going to give anybody luck adjustments. But if we wanted to implement something where, like, the winner gets or the loser of the league, the last place team, gets a little more luck this year, you could do something like that. I could hit this and assign each team a little bit of luck that would help them along. It doesn't necessarily guarantee a win, but it does give them more luck. We're not going to do that. It's still going to just remain random, so no luck. No luck at all. See, and you'll notice I can't click on anything because no is selected, so no luck for anybody. But good luck to everybody. Haha. Moving on to this. Now, these are kind of the settings for how these guys are going to run across the field. So yards traveled per rush can be anywhere from 1 to 10. And when we get started, you'll notice the guys run, they'll run in little sprints. Now, I think 10 is too far. I think we should set that down to 6 so that they're not breaking out into any huge leads at any one time. So the minimum they'll travel each time they rush is 1 yard. The maximum they'll travel is 6 yards. The maximum amount of time they'll take per rush can be anywhere from 2 to 7 seconds. And we're going to actually set that to 1 and 5. And then the speed, we're going to run this at normal speed because I want to talk while it's happening. And if I set it to faster, I just can't talk that fast. I can't do it, folks. Sorry. I'm not an auction caller. So there we have that. Settings are ready to go. And that's going to bring us here where we can look over our things. It's got our teams. Luck is not activated. There is no code rush. Minimum yards is 1, max 6. Minimum seconds 1, max seconds 5. Speed is normal. And we're just about ready to start this rush. When I press this start button, it's going to give us a little countdown, and then it is going to go. So, once again, good luck to everybody. Let's see how this finishes. Good luck. 3, 2, 1. And they're off. And it looks like right now Randy is coming out to a strong lead. Ooh, there goes Mike Jordan and KCW competing for the first and second spots. We've got Veronica out there, and Randy still competing strong. Randy really going for it this year. Randy's really looking for that number 1 spot. He's ready to run for it. He's willing to go all out. We've got Eric in there. That's myself. It looks like Marcus back at the rear. Marcus and Corey. Mike Frazier bringing up the rear as well. Helen Scott up there in the middling race. Jim B. Randy is just really running away with this thing at the 50-yard mark. Looks like Randy might be the team to beat for that number 1 slot this year. We've got Eric V down there in the second position, and Veronica now competing with Randy, and Corey and Rob all of a sudden coming into this out of nowhere. KC getting left behind along with Mike Frazier. Oh my goodness, Mike Frazier, our co-commissioner in the league. Ooh, he's making a run for everything now. Looks like we're getting a little more parity up at the front. We've got Randy still out there in the lead, but Marcus coming in strong. We've got Veronica still competing. Marcus all of a sudden comes out of nowhere, and now there's Eric. Oh my goodness, I might get that first slot. Oh my God. Now Veronica there. Veronica's running for that end zone. Looks like she might get it. Looks like she's going to cross that line first. Come on. Are we going to see that? Are we going to see it pop up? It will pop up there, folks. Boom! Veronica gets the number 1 pick, followed by the number 2 pick. Is it going to be Rob? It's Rob. Then is it Eric at 3rd, Helen 4th, Marcus 5th. There's 6th, 7th, Frazier at 8th. Where we got Jordan at 9th, KC at 10th, and it looks like Wishone, Garbage Time, bringing up the rear with Garbage Time. It's the number 12 slot. So there it is, folks, your draft order for the 2022 Operation Supervisor Fantasy Football League. We've got, with the number 1 pick, Veronica, the number 2 pick, Rob, the number 3 pick, myself, Eric, the 4 pick, Helen, the 5th pick, Marcus, 6th pick, Randy, 7th pick, Jim, 8th pick, Mike Frazier, 9th pick, Mike Jordan, 10th pick, Casey, 11th pick, Corey, and 12th pick, KCW. So that is going to be your draft order. I hope everybody is satisfied with it. If you're not, go ahead and let me or Mike Frazier know, and we'll tell you to get stuffed, because that is the draft order. That's the one we're going to go with. So lock it in, folks. Start to maybe doing up some mock drafts with you in the position that you got there. And as I said before, good luck to everybody in the league, and have fun. Peace. I am out of here. And I'll leave this up on the screen for just a little bit while I write it down on paper, just so I have it. But that is it for me, folks. So long.